You ever notice how the word discount makes everyone act like they just won a tiny lottery, even when it is 10% off a hot dog? That little thrill is exactly why charity events love asking vendors for a break on price, because goodwill spreads faster than ketchup at a summer fair. Here's the thing nobody tells new vendors. A discount is not just being nice, it is basically a math problem wearing a costume. You have to know your cost per item down to the penny before you can give away even a sliver of your profit without quietly going broke while smiling for photos. Let us talk about margins for a second, because that word sounds fancy, but it just means how much money you keep after paying for stuff. If a lemonade costs you $1 to make and you sell it for $4, your margin is the gap between those two numbers, and that gap is what pays your rent, not your good vibes. Now, picture a charity event organizer asking for 50% off everything because it is for the kids. Sweet idea, terrible spreadsheet, because most vendors cannot survive cutting their price in half and still cover ingredients, gas, and that one folding table that has survived since the Obama administration. This is where smart vendors create something called a tiered discount policy, which sounds boring but is actually a lifesaver. Instead of one giant discount for everyone, you offer small set discounts, maybe 5 or 10% for volunteers and a slightly bigger one for verified nonprofit staff. So generosity has guardrails instead of chaos. Funny enough, the biggest mistake vendors make is improvising discounts on the spot because someone looked sad or said the magic word charity. That is how a $7 item turns into a $2 item by accident, and suddenly your whole weekend profit evaporates faster than free samples at a grocery store. History actually backs this up, since community fairs and church festivals have used flat discount cards for decades, little paper tickets that say exactly what someone qualifies for. It is basically the original loyalty app, except instead of a glowing phone screen, it was a slightly soggy piece of cardstock. You also want a clear definition of who actually counts as a volunteer or community member, because everyone suddenly becomes a volunteer when free stuff is involved. Setting a simple rule, like requiring a wristband, badge, or printed list from the organizer, keeps things fair without turning you into the discount police. Here's a twist most people do not expect. Sometimes the best discount is not a price cut at all. Instead of slashing your prices, you could donate a small fixed number of items, like 20 free drinks total, which protects your margin while still supporting the cause everyone showed up for. Communities actually love this approach because it feels intentional instead of random. When you say something like, "We are proud to support this event with 25 complimentary servings," people respect that way more than a vague "we will see" attitude that leaves volunteers confused at checkout. Doubt creeps in here too, because some vendors worry that saying no to extra discounts makes them look greedy. In reality, a clear policy posted ahead of time like "volunteers receive 10% off with valid badge" actually builds more trust than open-ended promises that quietly get broken later. There's also a sneaky little ripple effect with goodwill because people remember how a vendor treated them at a charity event for years. That memory often turns into future business, referrals, and reviews, meaning your generosity today can multiply into real paying customers tomorrow, like compound interest but wearing a name tag. Of course, none of this works without basic math done before the event, not during it. Calculate your break-even point, decide your maximum discount percentage, and write it down somewhere you can actually see while standing behind a table with a line forming. At the end of the day, charity discounts are not about being a hero or a pushover, they are about being prepared enough to be generous on purpose. When you plan the numbers first, the kindness part becomes easy, almost automatic like muscle memory for your wallet. So if pricing, goodwill, and keeping your business alive at the same time sounds like a puzzle you would like solved for good, you want to learn more about how we help vendors handle exactly this? Check out our links in the description.